The laughter came first. Loud, sharp, cruel. It cut through the wedding hall like a knife. A woman stood up, holding her phone high, her voice dripping with mockery. "So this is him?" She laughed. "This is the man you married?" A poor tailor. Everyone turned. Every eye landed on the man standing beside the bride. His clothes were simple. Neat, clean, but simple. No gold watch, and no shiny shoes, and no loud confidence. Just calm eyes. The bride's fingers tightened around his hand. Her heart was beating fast. The woman continued laughing. A tailor? Sewing clothes for people just to eat? After all the rich men that came to this family. The hall exploded with laughter. Some people laughed loudly. Some laughed quietly. Some covered their mouths and smiled. The bride felt her chest burn. Then the man beside her lifted his head slowly. And in that moment, the doors of the wedding hall opened. Heavy doors. Men in black suits walked in. 1.2.3.4. The laughter stopped. The bride's mother froze. The bride's father stood up. The woman holding the phone dropped it. One of the men spoke calmly, loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Sir, we are ready for you." The poor tailor smiled, and the bride realized everything she thought she knew was about to change. But who is he really? Quick question before we continue. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your country in the comments, and if you love stories with shocking twists, stay with us. Her name was Nike. She grew up in a house where money decided everything. Respect came from wealth. Love came last. Her father was a proud man, a loud man, and a man who believed poverty was a disease. "Never bring a poor man to this house," he used to say. "Poverty brings shame." Nike learned early to keep quiet. She watched her friends marry rich men. She watched her cousins chase money like it was air. And then one day, she met Adebayo. Not in a fancy place, not at a party. She met him when her favorite dress tore. Rain was falling that day. She ran into a small tailoring shop to hide. The shop was old, small, quiet. A sewing machine hummed softly. A man sat there, focused, calm, his hands moving with care. "Sorry," she said. "Can you fix this?" He looked up, smiled. "Of course," he said. His voice was gentle. She sat and watched him work. He didn't rush, he didn't show off. He worked like the dress mattered. When he finished, the dress looked better than before. "How much?" she asked. He named a small amount. She was shocked. "That's all." He nodded. "I don't like to overcharge." Something about him stayed with her. The calm, the kindness, the dignity. She started finding reasons to return. A loose button got a short sleeve, got a small tear. And each time they talked about life, about dreams, about pain. He never asked about her family money. He never begged. He listened. And for the first time in her life, Nike felt seen. It was chaos. "A tailor?" her father shouted. Her mother cried. Her aunt laughed loudly. "A needleman? In this family?" Her friends pulled her aside. "You're wasting your beauty. You can do better. You'll suffer." But Nike stood firm. "He is kind," she said. "He respects me." Her father slammed the table. "Love does not pay bills." But Nike remembered something. Every rich man they introduced to her was proud, cruel, disrespectful. Adebayo was none of those things. So she chose him, against everyone. The insults became louder. They called him poor. They called him small. They called her foolish. Adebayo heard everything. He never fought back. He only smiled and said, "Let them talk." The hall was decorated, but not too expensive. Her family refused to support fully. "This is what a tailor can afford," they said. Guests came wearing expensive clothes. They looked around and laughed. Some whispered. Some took pictures. "This wedding is a joke," someone said. Nike felt the pain. But Adebayo squeezed her hand. "Look at me," he whispered. She looked. "I am here," he said. "That is enough." She nodded. The ceremony began. Then the mocking started. And that was when the doors opened. The men in black suits walked in. The poor tailor smiled. The bride's heart skipped, because she suddenly remembered something strange. Adebayo had disappeared the night before the wedding. He said he had something to finish. She didn't ask. Now, as the men stood waiting, one of them bowed slightly. The hall was silent. Adebayo took a slow step forward, and more Nike realized this was not just a tailor. This was something else. Something big. Something dangerous. Something powerful. And the truth was about to crash into the room. The wedding hall stayed frozen. No music, and no laughter, and no whisper. Just silence. The four men in black suits stood straight, their faces serious. They looked out of place in the small wedding hall. Too sharp, too clean, too important. Mornike's father swallowed hard. He looked from the men to Adebayo. "What is this?" he asked, trying to sound calm. "Who are these people?" Adebayo did not answer immediately. He slowly turned to Mornike. His eyes were warm, gentle, the same eyes she had fallen in love with. "Are you afraid?" he asked softly. She shook her head, though her heart was pounding. "No," she said. "I trust you." That was all he needed. Adebayo turned back to the crowd. "These men," he said calmly, "are here for me." The hall erupted. "For you?" someone shouted. The woman who had mocked him earlier laughed nervously. "Is this another joke? Did you hire actors to impress us?" Adebayo smiled faintly. One of the men stepped forward. "Sir," he said respectfully, "the board is waiting. The live call is ready." "Board? Live call?" The words made no sense to most people in the hall. Mornike's aunt leaned toward another guest. "Board of what?" "Tailors Association?" Some people laughed again, but the laughter was weaker now, uncertain. Adebayo raised his hand gently. "Please," he said, "give me a moment." He turned to the man and nodded. The man tapped something on a small device in his hand. Suddenly, the large screen meant for wedding photos came on. The smiling couple's picture disappeared. A video loaded. Mornike's breath caught. The screen showed a massive building. Tall, shining, glass everywhere. A voice spoke from the speakers. "Good afternoon, board members." The room went quiet. The voice continued. "We are ready to proceed once our chairman joins." "Chairman?" Mornike's father stood up slowly. "What is going on?" he demanded. Adebayo walked closer to the screen. The camera angle changed. Faces appeared. Men, women, all dressed in expensive suits. They looked powerful, important. Then one of them spoke. "Chairman Adebayo," the man said respectfully, "we can see you." The hall exploded into chaos. "Chairman? Did he say chairman? This is not possible." Mornike's mother covered her mouth. Her cousin's phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor. Adebayo looked straight into the camera. "Thank you," he said calmly. "Please give me a few minutes. I am at my wedding." "Wedding?" The people on the screen smiled. "Of course, sir," a woman said. "Congratulations." The screen went dark. Silence fell again. Heavy silence. Mornike's father staggered back into his chair. "Chairman of what?" he whispered. Adebayo turned to the guests. "I never lied to anyone," he said slowly. "I am a tailor. I design clothes. I sew." He paused. "But I own the company." Gasps filled the hall. "The company?" someone asked. Adebayo looked at Mornike, then back to the crowd. "The fashion houses you admire," he said. "The brands you save money to buy. The labels you wear to feel important." He breathed in. "They are mine." The woman who mocked him earlier began to shake. "That's a lie," she said weakly. "You don't look rich." Adebayo smiled. "I learned long ago," he said, "that real wealth does not shout." Mornike felt tears fill her eyes. All the small moments made sense now. The strange phone calls, the late nights, the trips he never explained. He wasn't hiding poverty. He was hiding power. But before anyone could speak again, the doors opened once more. This time, a man in a gray suit walked in. He looked angry, very angry. He pointed at Adebayo. "You think you can hide forever?" the man shouted. "You stole what belongs to us." The hall froze. Adebayo's calm face changed, just slightly, and Mornike felt it. This secret, was bigger than money. It had enemies. The man in the gray suit stood at the entrance, breathing hard. Every eye in the hall locked on him. Mornike's heart started racing. "Who is that?" someone whispered. The man ignored everyone else. His finger stayed pointed at Adebayo. "You ruined everything," he shouted. "You think marrying her will protect you?" The words hit the room like thunder. Mornike felt her hand tremble in Adebayo's. Protect him? From what? Adebayo took a slow step forward. "Leave," he said calmly. "This is my wedding." The man laughed bitterly. "Your wedding?" he snapped. "After stealing my life's work?" Gasps rippled through the guests. Mornike's father stood up again. His voice shook. "What is this madness? What theft?" The man turned to the crowd, his face twisted with anger. "My name is Kunalajayi," he said, "and that man you are praising is a thief." The woman who mocked earlier gasped loudly. "I knew it. I knew something was wrong." Mornike felt heat rush to her face. "Stop," she said, finding her voice. "This is not the place." Kunal looked at her. "So, you're the wife," he said coldly. "Do you know who you married?" Adebayo squeezed her hand gently. "Kunal," Adebayo said, his voice low, "don't do this." Kunal laughed again. "You're afraid now?" he asked. "Good." He walked into the hall, each step heavy. Years of anger walked with him. "We started together," Kunal said, pacing. Two young designers. Same dream. The room stayed silent. We slept in the same tiny room. Shared one sewing machine. Mornike's breath caught. Adebayo did not interrupt. "Then success came," Kunal continued. "Ideas. Contracts. Big money." He stopped and pointed at Adebayo again. And then he disappeared. Murmurs filled the hall. Kunal's voice rose. He took the designs. "The contacts. The future." "That's not true," Adebayo said quietly. Kunal slammed his fist on the table. "You left me with nothing." The sound made Mornike jump. Kunal turned to the guests. "While I suffered, he built an empire," he said. "And now you clap for him?" Some guests shifted uncomfortably. Mornike's father rubbed his face with his hands. "This is a disgrace," he muttered. Mornike stepped forward. "I don't care about his money," she said firmly. "I care about the man I married." Kunal stared at her. "You still will," he said darkly, "when the truth finishes him." The men in black suits moved slightly, alert. Adebayo raised his hand. "Enough," he said. "If you want the truth, you will get it." Kunal smiled thinly. "Good," he said, "because I came prepared." He reached into his briefcase. Mornike's heart dropped. "Tomorrow," Kunal said loudly, "your company faces court." The hall erupted. "Court? Scandal. Arrest him." Kunal turned to Mornike one last time. "You married him today," he said. "Tomorrow, he may lose everything." He walked toward the door, but before he left, he paused. "And when he falls," Kunal added, "ask him what he sacrificed or eyes." The door slammed shut. Silence followed. Mornike turned slowly to Adebayo. His face was calm. Too calm. "What did he mean?" she asked softly. Adebayo looked at her, with eyes full of pain. "There are parts of my past," he said, "I hoped you would never have to face." The guests watched them like a movie. The celebration was dead, and a new fear had entered the marriage, because the man she trusted was standing on the edge of something dangerous. The wedding hall emptied slowly. No laughter, and oh dancing, and oh joy. Guests left in whispers. Some looked at Adebayo with fear, some with pity, some with secret happiness, glad the rich tailor had problems. Mornike's family did not say goodbye. Her father walked out without looking back. Her mother followed, wiping silent tears. Only Mornike stayed, standing beside her husband, alone. The night air outside was cold. The car waited. One of the men in black opened the door. Mornike hesitated. She had imagined her wedding night many times. Never like this. Inside the car, silence sat between them. The city lights passed by. She finally spoke. "Is he right?" she asked gently. "Did you steal?" Adebayo closed his eyes for a moment. "No," he said. But I did leave. That answer hurt more than a lie. Why? She asked. He looked at her. Because staying would have destroyed both of us. The small room smelled of fabric and sweat. Two young men worked late into the night. Adebayo and Cunnel. Cunnel was loud, fast, angry. Adebayo was quiet, careful, patient. Their designs were special. People started noticing. Then investors came. One investor in particular liked Adebayo's work. Too much. Cunnel noticed. You think you're better than me? Cunnel shouted one night. I think we are a team, Adebayo replied. But Cunnel did not listen. He started making dangerous choices. Bad contracts. Hidden deals. Adebayo warned him. Cunnel laughed. We're almost rich, he said. Stop being afraid. One night, Adebayo found fake signatures. Stolen money. If this comes out, we go to jail, Adebayo said. Cunnel shrugged. Only if they catch us. That was the night Adebayo left. He took nothing. No designs.no money. Only his skill. Only his name. The car stopped in front of a quiet house. Simple, beautiful. This is where you live? More Nike asked softly. Adebayo nodded. Inside, the house was warm. Clean. Peaceful. Not the home of a criminal. More Nike sat on the couch. So why is he coming after you now? She asked. Adebayo's jaw tightened. Because he finally got caught, he said. And he needs someone else to blame. Mornike's heart sank. What will happen tomorrow? She asked. Adebayo looked at her seriously. There will be a fight, he said. In court. In public. She reached for his hand. I'm not leaving, she said. He looked surprised. You don't know how ugly this can get. I don't care, she replied. I married you. Adebayo smiled sadly. Just then his phone rang. One of the men in black spoke urgently. Sir, the voice said, the media has a story. Adebayo closed his eyes. The war had begun, and more Nike realized their marriage was being tested on the very first night. Morning came too fast. More Nike had not slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Cunnel's angry face and the word court flashing in her mind. Adebayo stood by the window, already dressed. Calm, focused, like a man preparing for battle. Outside, cars slowed down in front of the house. Phones were raised. Cameras pointed. Mornike's stomach dropped. They found us, she whispered. Adebayo nodded. They always do. By the time they turned on the television, it was everywhere. Breaking NEW's Billionaire Fashion chairman, accused of theft by former partner. Mornike's hands shook. Pictures of Adebayo filled the screen. Some from the wedding, some from old fashion shows. The reporter spoke fast. Sources say Mr. Adebayo built his empire on stolen designs. Turn it off, Mornike cried. Adebayo raised his hand. No, he said. Let it play. He watched without blinking. The same world that mocked him for being poor was now tearing him apart for being rich. His phone would not stop ringing. Board members, lawyers, investors. One message stood out. Emergency meeting. 9 a.m. Mornike looked up at him. Will they abandon you? She asked. He paused. Some already have. The building from the wedding screen stood tall and cold. Inside the boardroom, faces were tense. No smiles. No congratulations. One man slammed the table. The scandal will destroy us. Another shouted, stocks are falling. A woman turned to Adebayo. You should step aside until this is resolved. Step aside? Adebayo stayed seated. I will not, he said calmly. Murmurs filled the room. This company was built on truth, he continued. I did not steal, and I will not run. A voice came from the screen. Cunnel, smiling. So brave, he said. Let's see how brave you are in court. Mornike, watching from outside the room, felt sick. This was not just business. This was revenge. By afternoon, the insults returned. Online comments flooded in. Poor tailor turned thief. She married a criminal. Serves her right. Mornike read them with tears in her eyes. Her phone rang. Her mother. Leave him, her mother cried. before it ruins you. Mornike closed her eyes. I won't, she said quietly. You're choosing suffering, her mother replied. Mornike hung up. She looked at her wedding ring. Chose suffering or chose truth? That evening, Adebayo came home late. His shoulders were heavy. They froze some accounts, he said. Mornike gasped. How bad is it? Adebayo looked at her. For the first time, he said, I might lose. The word scared her more than anything else. She stepped forward and held him. Then we lose together, she said. He closed his eyes and rested his head against hers. Outside, thunder rolled. The storm was not only in the sky, it was in their lives. And tomorrow, court would decide who survives. The courthouse was already crowded before sunrise. Cameras everywhere, voices shouting, flashes exploding like lightning. Mornike, is your husband a thief? Did you know the truth before marrying him? She held Adebayo's hand tightly as they walked in. He did not look left. He did not look right. He walked like a man who knew this place would judge him. Inside, the courtroom was cold. Connell was already there, sitting calmly, smiling, like a man who believed he had already won. When he saw Mornike, his smile grew wider. Good morning, he said softly. Welcome to reality. Adebayo said nothing. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Then the battle began. Connell's lawyer spoke first. Smooth, confident. My lord, he said, this case is simple. My client was betrayed. Screens lit up. Designs appeared. Sketches. Old contracts. Dates flashed on the screen. These designs were created while my client and the accused worked together. The lawyer continued. Yet they appeared years later under the accused company. Murmurs filled the courtroom. Mornike's chest tightened. Connell leaned back, enjoying every second. Then came the real blow. The lawyer held up a document. A signed agreement, he said, proving joint ownership. Mornike turned to Adebayo in panic. I have never seen that before, he whispered. The judge frowned. This document changes things, the judge said. Connell stood up. I trusted him like a brother, Connell said, his voice shaking perfectly. And he stabbed me in the back. Some people in the courtroom wiped fake tears. Mornike felt sick. This was not truth. This was theater. Adebayo's lawyer stood slowly. My lord, he said, we asked for time. Connell laughed loudly. Time, he mocked. You had years. The judge raised his hand. Order, he said. Proceed. Adebayo finally stood. For the first time, his calm cracked. I did not steal, he said clearly. I left to protect myself from crimes I refused to commit. Connell clapped slowly. Beautiful story, he said. But stories don't win cases. The judge looked tired. We will adjourn until tomorrow, he said. Both parties will submit further evidence. The gavel hit. Bang. Mornike's knees felt weak. Tomorrow? Connell leaned close as they walked out. Enjoy tonight, he whispered. Tomorrow, everything you love collapses. That night, the house felt heavy. No lights on. No word spoken. Mornike sat alone, staring at nothing. Then the doorbell rang. Late. Too late. Adebayo stiffened. One of the men in black checked the door. Sir, he said carefully, there's a woman here. What woman? Adebayo asked. She says she used to work with Connell. Mornike's heart jumped. Let her in, she said quickly. The woman entered slowly. She looked nervous. Scared. The woman sat on the edge of the chair, shaking. Her hands were cold. Her eyes kept moving to the door. My name is Saad, she said softly. I was Connell's legal assistant. Mornike leaned forward. You made a document? She asked. Saad nodded slowly. Yes, she said. Not alone. Connell planned everything. Adebayo stayed silent, listening. He told me it was a protection. Saad continued, that if anything happened, he needed proof. She laughed bitterly. Proof of a lie. Mornike felt anger rise inside her. Why now? She asked. Why come to us? Saada's lips trembled. Because I saw what he did today, she said. The way he smiled. The way he enjoyed hurting you. She looked at Mornike. You don't deserve this. Saad explained everything. How Cunnell waited for years. How he watched Adebayo grow quietly. How he gathered fake evidence piece by piece. When he heard about the wedding, Saad said, he knew the timing was perfect. Adebayo closed his eyes. He wanted to humiliate me, he said. Yes, Saad replied, and take your company. Mornike's heart pounded. Can you testify? She asked. Saad hesitated. If I do, she said, he will destroy me. Adebayo stepped forward. I will protect you, he said firmly. She looked at him. You couldn't even protect yourself today, she whispered. The words hurt, but they were true. Just then, Sada's phone vibrated. Her face turned pale. He's calling, she whispered. Everyone froze. Don't answer, Mornike said. Saad shook her head. If I don't, he'll know. She answered. Hello, she said softly. Cunnell's voice came through the speaker. Calm. Too calm. I hear you've been busy tonight, he said. Sada's eyes filled with tears. I don't know what you mean, she replied. Cunnell laughed quietly. Careful, he said. Loyalty keeps people safe. The call ended. Saad dropped the phone. He knows, she said. I'm already in danger. Adebayo turned to the men in black. Move her tonight, he ordered. Somewhere safe. Mornike looked at him. This will work, she said. I believe it. Adebayo did not answer, because he knew something Mornike did not. Cunnell always stayed one step ahead. Later that night, after Saad was taken away, Adebayo stood alone in his study. A file lay open on his desk. Old records. Old emails. Something did not add up. Then he saw it. A familiar name. Someone from his own board. Someone he trusted. His chest tightened. Cunnell did not work alone. The enemy was closer than he thought. And if he was right, tomorrow's court hearing would not just decide his company. It would decide who survives. Morning arrived with fear. Mornike woke up suddenly, her heart racing. The house was too quiet. Adebayo, she called. No answer. She rushed out of bed. He was in the living room, standing over his laptop, his face hard. You didn't sleep, she said. He shook his head. I found something, he replied. He turned the screen toward her. An email chain. Old. Hidden. Carefully buried. One name appeared again and again. Ton Baligan. Board member. Friend. The man who always defended Adebayo. Mornike's throat went dry. What does this mean? She asked. Adebayo's voice was low. It means Cunnell has help, he said. From inside my company. At the courthouse, tension filled the air. Cameras flashed again. But today, the energy was different. Hungry. The judge entered. Cunnell arrived moments later, smiling wider than before. He looked confident. Too confident. Then Adebayo saw Tund, sitting behind Cunnell. Their eyes met. Tund looked away. That was the answer. Mornike felt Adebayo's hand tighten. This is not just about designs, he whispered. They want control. Cunnell's lawyer spoke again. My lord, he said, we have new evidence. Adebayo's lawyer stiffened. New evidence? Tund stood up. Mornike gasped. My lord, Tund said, as a board member, I must tell the truth. The courtroom buzzed. Tund continued. Adebayo had transactions. He moved funds without approval. Mornike shook her head. He's lying, she whispered. Cunnell smiled. The knife had come from inside. The judge frowned. This is serious, he said. Adebayo stood. Tund, he said calmly, look at me. Tund hesitated. Tell them why you joined Cunnell, Adebayo said. Tund's hand shook. I did it to protect the company, he said weakly. From who? Adebayo asked. Silence. The judge leaned forward. Answer the question. Tund's voice broke. From him, he said, pointing at Adebayo. The room erupted. Mornike felt like the ground was breaking under her feet. Then Adebayo's lawyer stood. My lord, he said, we were expecting a key witness today. Cunnell laughed openly. A witness? He said. Maybe she changed her mind. Mornike's heart stopped. Saad. Where was Saad? The lawyer checked his phone. His face turned pale. We cannot reach her, he said. Colonel's smile grew. The judge sighed. Without the witness we proceed, he said. Adebayo closed his eyes. This was bad. Very bad. As court adjourned again, Colonel walked past Mornike. You married a brave man, he whispered. Too bad bravery doesn't save fools. Mornike turned to Adebayo. We will find her, she said desperately. Adebayo nodded slowly. Yes, he said, but deep inside he feared the truth. If Saad was gone, then, tomorrow, everything would fall apart. The city woke up buzzing. Every radio station, every phone screen, every street conversation. Billionaire chairman likely to lose empire today. Mornike read the headline and felt her chest tighten. Today was the final hearing. If they failed, everything would be over. She looked at Adebayo. He was calm again. Too calm, like a man who had already accepted the worst. Did you hear from him? She asked. He shook his head. No sign of Saad. Silence fell between them. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. Adebayo answered. Sir, a hurried voice said, We found her. Mornike gasped. Where? She asked loudly. The voice hesitated. Alive, he said, but barely. They drove fast. Too fast. The car stopped at a small clinic on the edge of the city. Inside, Saad lay on a bed. Weak, bruised, scared. Mornike rushed to her side. You're safe now, she whispered. Saad opened her eyes slowly. They tried to silence me, she said weakly. He said I talked too much. Adebayo's jaw tightened. Can you testify? He asked gently. Saad swallowed. Yes, she said, even if it kills me. They arrived late. The courtroom was already full. Colonel sat confidently. When he saw Saad being helped in, his smile disappeared. The judge looked surprised. You were missing, the judge said. Saad nodded. Yes, my lord, she replied. Because I was attacked. The courtroom exploded. Colonel stood up. This is a setup, he shouted. The judge banged the gavel. Order. Saad spoke clearly. The document presented by Mr. Kunalajaya is fake, she said. I helped create it under his instruction. Gasps filled the room. Mornike's knees went weak. Colonel's face turned pale. Saad continued. He planned this for years, she said, to steal the company and destroy Adebayo. Colonel laughed nervously. Lies, he said. Where is your proof? Saad raised a small drive. Here, she said. The judge accepted it. The room held its breath. The files played. Messages, instructions, threats. Colonel sank back into his chair. But before the judge could speak, Colonel jumped up. This is not over, he shouted. You think you've won? Security moved in. But Colonel smiled, because he still had one card left. Colonel turned to Mornike. Ask your husband, he said coldly. What he promised me the night he left. The room went silent. Mornike slowly turned to Adebayo. What did you promise him? She asked. Adebayo closed his eyes. A long breath left his chest. There is something, he said, I never told anyone. Colonel laughed. Tell her, he said. Tell them all. Adebayo opened his eyes. And Mornike knew whatever he was about to say could destroy them in a different way. The courtroom was silent. Too silent. Every eye fixed on Adebayo. Mornike's heart was beating so loud she was sure others could hear it. What promise? She asked again, her voice shaking. Adebayo swallowed. Years of secrets sat in his throat. When I left, he began slowly. Colonel begged me to stay. Colonel nodded, smiling. He was scared. Adebayo continued. Scared the truth about his deals would come out. The judge leaned forward. What truth? The judge asked. Adebayo's voice grew heavier. He was laundering money, he said, using the business to hide it. Gasps filled the courtroom. Mornike felt dizzy. Colonel laughed loudly. And you knew, Colonel said. That's the point. Adebayo looked at Mornike. I promise him silence, he said quietly. I promise I would disappear and never expose him. The words hit her like a slap. You protected him, she whispered. I protected the workers, Adebayo said quickly. If the company collapsed, then hundreds would suffer. Connell clapped slowly. You see, he said to the judge, he knew everything. The courtroom erupted again. So, you were part of it, someone shouted. No, Adebayo said firmly. I refused to join him. That's why I left. The judge raised his hand for order. This changes the case, he said seriously. Mornike's chest felt tight. This was worse than theft. This was silence. Complicity. Connell smiled wider. He made a promise, Connell said, and now he broke it. Security moved closer to Connell, but he didn't care. You exposed me, Connell continued, staring at Adebayo. So I exposed you. Mornike felt tears burn her eyes. She turned away from Adebayo. I didn't know, she whispered. Adebayo reached for her hand. She pulled away. The judge spoke again. This court will need time, he said. This revelation is serious. The gavel slammed. Bang. Court adjourned. Connell leaned toward Adebayo as they were escorted out. Even if I fall, he whispered, I'll make sure she never looks at you the same way again. Mornike walked ahead. Alone, Adebayo stood still, because he knew the hardest judgment was no longer from the court. It was from the woman he loved, and he might be losing her. The car ride home felt endless. No one spoke. The city lights blurred past a window, but Mornike did not see them. Her mind was loud. Too loud. You promised silence, she finally said, her voice low. You protected him. Adebayo stared straight ahead. I protected innocent people, he replied. I thought disappearing was the cleanest way. She laughed bitterly. Clean, she asked. You let a criminal walk free. He turned to her. And I paid for with years of hiding, he said. I lived small on purpose. I stayed invisible. That doesn't make it right, she said quietly. The car stopped. Home. But it didn't feel like home anymore. Inside, Mornike went straight to the bedroom. She locked the door. Adebayo stood outside, helpless. Mornike, he said softly. Please. No answer. Inside, she sat on the bed, hugging her knees. She remembered his kindness, his patience, his love. But now there was this, a secret that could destroy lives. Her phone buzzed. A message from her father. Leave him now. This family disgrace will end today. She dropped the phone. Tears finally came. The next morning, the media attacked harder. Chairman knew about crimes. Wife shocked by husband's secret. Pictures of Mornike spread everywhere. Her friends stopped calling. Her family blamed her. Adebayo watched it all silently. Then his lawyer arrived, breathless. They are reopening investigations, he said. On you? Mornike stepped out of the room. Reopening? How bad? She asked. The lawyer hesitated. Very bad, he said. They may treat your silence as a crime. Adebayo nodded slowly. I expected this, he said. Mornike stared at him. You knew this could happen? She asked. Yes, he replied. That's why I tried to live quietly. Her heart ached. That night, Mornike packed a small bag. Adebayo watched from the doorway. Where are you going? He asked. She couldn't look at him. I need space, she said. I need to breathe. He stepped aside. I understand, he said softly. She paused at the door. Tell me one thing, she said. If you could go back, would you still promise him silence? Adebayo closed his eyes. A long moment passed. I don't know, he admitted. That answer broke her. She walked out. The door closed quietly. Adebayo stood alone in the house. Outside, a car waited. Inside, his phone rang again. Unknown number. He answered. Connell's voice came through, laughing. You lost her, Connell said, and tomorrow you lose everything else. The call ended. Adebayo dropped the phone, because he knew the final battle was coming, and this time he might not survive it. Morning came with bad news. Very bad news. Adebayo sat alone in the quiet house when his lawyer rushed in, pale and sweating. They issued a warrant. The lawyer said, they want you in custody today. Adebayo did not panic. He only nodded. So, it has reached this point, he said calmly. Outside, sirens could already be heard in the distance. More Nike was at her childhood home when the news flashed on TV. Breaking. Chairman to be taken in for questioning over past financial crimes. Her mother gasped. Her father smiled coldly. I warned you, her father said. This man will ruin you. More Nike stood up suddenly. Enough, she said. They both turned to her in shock. He may be flawed, she continued, her voice shaking, but he is not evil. Her father scoffed. You are still defending him? More Nike grabbed her bag. I'm going to him, she said. Her mother cried out. You will destroy your future. More Nike paused at the door. No, she said softly. I'm trying to save my present. Black vehicles stopped in front of Adebayo's house. Men stepped out. Serious, official. Adebayo walked out on his own. No handcuffs yet. No resistance. Just dignity. As they moved him toward the car, a voice shouted, Stop! Everyone turned. More Nike ran toward him. Breathless, tears in her eyes. She stood in front of him. I left because I was hurt, she said. Not because I stopped loving you. Adebayo's eyes softened. I didn't want you dragged into this, he said. She shook her head. You don't get to decide that alone. She turned to the officers. He will cooperate, she said firmly. But he is not running. The officer nodded. As Adebayo was placed in the car, Cunnell appeared, standing across the street, smiling. Slow claps. Beautiful. Cunnell said loudly, Love at the end of the road. More Nike spun around. You did this, she said. Cunnell bowed slightly. Of course, he replied, but I'm not done. Adebayo stiffened. What else do you want? He asked. Cunnell's smile faded. I want the truth to finish you, he said. And today it will. Cunnell held up a folder. Inside this, he continued, is proof that turns your silence into a crime. Mornike's heart dropped. What proof? She asked. Cunnell looked straight at her. A recording, he said, of the night he promised me silence. Adebayo's face changed, because he knew that recording existed, and he never thought Cunnell still had it. The car door closed. Adebayo was driven away. More Nike stood frozen. If that recording played in court, everything would be over. Love, freedom, hope. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I know how to destroy the recording, if you're brave enough. Mornike's hands shook. She looked up at the sky. Chapter 13 was coming, and it would demand everything from her. Mornike read the message again. I know how to destroy the recording, if you're brave enough. Her heart pounded. She typed with shaking fingers. Who are you? The reply came fast. Someone Cunnell betrayed, too. Meet me tonight. Come alone. She hesitated. Adebayo was in custody. Cunnell was smiling. Time was running out. She had no choice. Night fell. Mornike arrived at an old warehouse near the river. Cold air, broken windows, dark corners. A woman stepped out of the shadows. Older, strong eyes, tired face. My name is Bisola, the woman said. I was Cunnell's first investor. Mornike stiffened. He stole from me, Bisola continued. When I asked questions, he threatened me. She held up a small device. The recording you fear, she said. I helped him make copies. I kept one. Mornike's chest tightened. Why help me? She asked. Bisola smiled sadly. Because men like Cunnell only fall when women stop being silent. She handed Mornike the device. Tomorrow morning, Bisola said, this goes to the judge and the media. Mornike swallowed. That recording could destroy my husband, she said. Bisola shook her head. Listen carefully, she replied. It doesn't say what Cunnell claims. They played it. Cunnell's voice came first. Promise me you won't talk. Then Adebayo's voice. I won't expose crimes I didn't commit. But if you hurt people, I will speak. Mornike covered her mouth. That was not silence. That was a warning. Cunnell had cut the recording. Changed it. Lied. Bisola nodded. He edited it, she said. But the original tells the truth. More Nike felt strength rush back into her body. Send it, she said firmly. Bisola smiled. I already did. The courtroom was packed. Reporters everywhere. Adebayo stood quietly, tired but proud. Kunnel walked in confident, still smiling. The judge entered. Proceedings began. Then the judge raised his hand. Before we continue, he said, new evidence has been submitted. Kunnel's smile froze. The recording played. The full recording. The real one. The room went silent. Kunnel stood up. That's fake, he shouted. The judge stared at him coldly. Sit down, he said. More evidence followed. Edited files, threat messages, proof of manipulation. Kunnel's lawyer slowly sat down. Defeated. Security moved toward Kunnel. This court finds evidence of fraud, the judge said firmly, and deliberate deception. Kunnel screamed, you think you've won? But no one listened anymore. He was taken away. Shouting, broken. Outside the courthouse, sunlight hit Mornike's face. Adebayo stepped out a free man. Not perfect, but honest. She ran to him, held him, cried. I should have trusted the whole truth, she said. He held her tightly. And I should have trusted you with it, he replied. They stood together as cameras flashed. Not as billionaire and wife. Not as poor tailor and foolish bride. But as two people who survived lies. Months later, Mornike walked into a bright studio. Designers worked quietly. A sign on the wall read, Build on Truth. Adebayo stood beside her. No hiding now. No secrets. Just work. Just love. And somewhere far away, Kunnel watched the news from behind bars. Silent at last. If this story touched you, shocked you, or made you think, subscribe to this channel to support our growth and never miss another powerful story.